UFC 316, here's my experience.
I see my haters proud of me now. When I'm around, it's all smiles. I took over my whole town.
Alright, to kick this thing off, I'll give this card a solid 8.5 out of 10. Some really fun finishes on the main card, and some really good, highly touted prospects performed really well during this card. First fight now I want to talk about is Mr. Joe St. Yo versus Jinka. Yo, absolutely picture perfect, left hand, knocked him out cold, face planted on the ground. That was insane. On the third fight of the night, and you got a knockout like that, it's hard to beat that for 50K, and nobody did. But that man put on an absolute great performance, and he looks massive to be 145 pounds, and I cannot wait to see what Yo does next. The next fight I want to talk about is Mr. Andreas Gustafsson versus Chaos Williams. Fans was booing, but that fight was brutal. Through and through. Andreas Gustafsson looked like he wasn't even breathing hard towards the end of the fight, and that man was just able to clinch Chaos Williams against the cage and throw bombs whenever he wanted to separate and take him down at will. I mean, Chaos Williams looked like he had absolutely nothing for Gustafsson that entire fight, and Andreas Gustafsson has his UFC debut versus somebody who has a name, and I cannot wait to see what Gustafsson does next. Even though this fight did go to decision, I don't think many of his fights in the future will be seeing the judges' scorecards. What did you guys think about his performance? Let me know. Following that fight, we have Mr. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Sergey Spivak. Cortez Acosta jumps into the top 10 with a very good performance in my opinion. And some of the showboating looked kind of sus in my opinion. I couldn't tell if he was rocked or he was just playing around for the most of the time, but he was able to get the win no matter what by decision. And Waldo Cortez Acosta is in the top 10 at heavyweight. The heavyweight division should be rolling here pretty soon. I think they're going to move on from John Jones, especially if he's not fighting that November card in New York. I think that's the absolute deadline for the UFC to try to get this John Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight done. If it's not by then, this heavyweight train has to get moving. And I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is going to be a pretty good plug into this heavyweight division. One of the most professional fights of the night is we had Mr. Azamat Murzakanov versus Brendan Ribeiro. Murzakanov went in there and starched him. Made a nice, easy, clean. He punched him in the forehead, and it looked like he just shut down Ribeiro's body. And Azamat Murzakanov, he has to be more active. I know this fight was supposed to be against Johnny Walker, but Ribeiro stepped up, and Murzakanov showed what it looks like when you fight an elite fighter, and you're not the elite fighter as of yet. But what did you guys think about Murzakanov's performance? I think we need to see him probably within the next 2 to 3 months, because he didn't really take any type of damage in this fight, and he has to make up for a lost time. He is 15-0, and we have not seen him very active in the UFC. In one of the more grueling fights of the night, we had Mr. Joshua Van versus Bruno Silva. How Bruno Silva was able to survive until the third round, it blows my mind. And I say survive because that man was in danger numerous times. But Joshua Van, 23 years old, racking up UFC victories left and right. He moves a couple spots up in the UFC flyweight division. Who does Joshua Van fight next? His last loss was against Charles Johnson. I think that'll be a very fun fight to rematch in the future. So Joshua Van, another win in the win column for him. What did you guys think about that performance? Let me know. Opening up the main card, we had Mr. Kevin Holland taking on Vicente Luque. In this fight, Kevin Holland looked way better than I thought he would. Kevin Holland seems to be taking MMA and UFC in general seriously again, and especially at 170 pounds. As long as he doesn't get somebody that can just overly pressure him and get him to the ground, that man is a dangerous fighter, and he was able to lock in the submission in the second round. Kevin Holland said he would love to fight Colby Covington next, and honestly, I think that would be a very fun fight. I don't think Colby Covington has the same pressure and takedown attempts that he once had early in his UFC career. So if Kevin Holland can probably stay on his feet for the first 2 or 3 takedown attempts, I think he would be able to finish Colby Covington late in the fight. But that's either here or there. Kevin Holland had a fantastic performance against Vicente Luque at UFC 316, and I cannot wait to see what he has next. The fight I was most excited to see was Mario Batista versus Patchy Mix, and it did not go the way I thought it would go. Patchy Mix, I don't know if the lights was too bright for him or what, but he made Mario Batista look like a pro boxer out there. Patchy Mix, I don't think he moved his head off the center line once, while Mario Batista was on 1 and 2s straight down the middle, cracking him every single time. Patchy Mix didn't shoot for a takedown in this fight, and this man is a grappler. He's very, very dangerous on the ground. And outside of the early and insane shot that he took in the third round, I don't think Patchy Mix even attempted a takedown besides that one. But Patchy Mix, hopefully this isn't indicative of his UFC career, because I do still think very, very highly of Patchy Mix. I feel like he has all the skills to be one of the best in the world. But whenever you say you're the best in the world and you get dominated like that by somebody who is ranked 8th in the UFC, it's not looking too hot. Hopefully his next performance lives up to the hype that he had coming in from the PFL. But what did you guys think about this? How do y'all feel about Mario Batista putting on a pretty okay, decent showing from himself? But yeah, that's what happened in that fight. In another fight that went away, I did not see go on, we had Mr. Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum showed that he is not giving up on himself, as he was dropped early in the fight in the first round, and Joe Pyfer tried to get him out of there. He tried to get him out there with everything he could, but Kelvin Gastelum showed that he still has a championship mindset and heart. He's not going to get put out unless you absolutely put him out, which Joe Pyfer was not able to do. But Joe Pyfer wins his second fight in a row, and do you think he's ready for ranked competition in 185? Let me know. In the whole main event of the night, I said it in my predictions video, the hardest part of this fight for Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena was the Kayla Harrison weight cut. She had to make 135 on the dot. She was able to do it, and inside the fight, she was able to absolutely dominate her. Juliana Pena's best strike during this entire fight was an illegal up kick, which got a point taken away. He dominated this fight, and she was able to lock in the Kimura towards the back end of the second round of this fight. Kayla Harrison is the new UFC Bantamweight Women's World Champion, and her first title defense will be against Amanda the Lioness Nunes. This fight is going to be absolutely box office, and I cannot wait to see this fight. Harrison absolutely ran through Juliana Pena in this title fight, so it is what it is in that. In the main event of the night, we had Merab Dvalishvili taking on Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley gets an immediate rematch against Merab after his fight against him in the spear, and Merab absolutely dominated the rematch. Absolutely dominated the rematch. I want to say the closest part of this fight was the second round when Merab wasn't able to get Sean O'Malley on the ground. Honestly, I think Merab was looking better than Sean O'Malley in the striking in the second round. I gave Merab the second round also, but he was able to finish the fight in the third round. Something that he has had a reputation of not doing, and he was able to absolutely dominate Sean O'Malley. What Sean O'Malley does from here, I have no idea, because he's not getting another title shot at 135 pounds for a while at least, and I think Sean O'Malley wants to be a champion. So is a move to featherweight an option? I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to handle the bigger bodies. But what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about UFC 316 as a whole? What was your surprise of the night? What was your favorite fight of the night? Let me know down below in the comments. And like always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Be good people. Peace.